Jalebis Class 8. It so happened. About the author. Ahmad Nadeem Qasmi was a legendary Urdu and English language poet, journalist, literary critic, dramatist, and short story author. His works include 50 books including poetry, fiction, criticism, journalism, and art. His short story Jalebis is translated from Urdu by Zulfia Pathan. Jalebis is a short story about a child's dilemma after he spends his school fees on mouth-watering jalebis. Synopsis of the story. Temptation for Jalebis. Munna was a student of class 5 at the government school Kampalpur. He was going to school with 4 rupees in his pocket to pay his fees. But his teacher, Master Ghulam Muhammad, was on leave, so the fees could not be paid that day. On his way back, the sight of jalebis tempted him. The coins in his pocket began to jingle. Coins spoke. Coins do not talk, but that day they actually spoke. 1 rupees said, "What are you thinking about?" It drew his attention to the fresh, hot jalebis. It told Munna that they were meant to be eaten. Only those with money in their pocket can eat them, and money is meant to be spent. Reasons for not following the advice. He didn't follow the coin's advice. It was the money for the fees. How could he spend it on jalebis? He won't show his face to his teacher and God. Besides this, he was a good boy. He got so much to eat at home. If Master Ghulam Muhammad got angry, he would keep him standing on the bench. Moreover, he belonged to a well-to-do family, so he enjoyed great prestige. Therefore, it was not proper for him to eat jalebis standing in the bazaar. The temptation. Munna could not overcome his temptation. The rupees went on persuading him to eat jalebis. So he rushed out of the house barefoot to eat jalebis. He ran towards the bazaar. He told the halwai to give him a rupee worth of jalebis. The halwai heaped a pile of jalebis on a newspaper. He took the jalebis and ran into a street. He ate many jalebis. Neighborhood boys. The boys from the neighborhood assembled in the street. Munna began to give jalebis to the children around. When other children heard about it, they also came there. Munna ran to the halwai. He bought 1 more rupees worth of jalebis. He distributed these jalebis among the children. A huge crowd of children gathered round him. Beggars too came there. The children were so happy that they could have done anything for him. Munna's problem. Munna returned home. Digesting the jalebis was now a problem for him. A burp came with every breath. There was the danger of every burp bringing out a jalebi or 2. He had to take his dinner also. Otherwise, he would have been asked why he did not want any food. If he had pretended illness, a doctor would have been called. The result was that he lay coiled up like a jalebi during the night. Another problem. Munna faced another problem. He went to the school next day. He found out that he won't get his scholarship that day. It would be paid next month. Master Ghulam Muhammad had announced that he would take their fees during the recess. But when the recess bell rang, Munna left the school. On the way, he prayed to God to arrange 4 rupees for him. He reached the Kampalpur railway station. Munna's absence from school. Munna sat under a tree near the railway tracks. He started thinking about his miserable condition. The matter had looked simple and straightforward. This was because he could pay the fees with the scholarship money. If he had known that he would get the scholarship next month, he would have not bought jalebis. Now he was absent from school for the first time because of the jalebis. He felt like crying. He started thinking about his fees and his teacher's cane. He closed his eyes and began to pray. Munna's prayer and disappointment. Munna prayed to God to help him. He said that he was a very good boy. He has memorized the entire namaz. He even knows the last 10 surahs of the Quran by heart. He prayed to God to put only 4 rupees in his bag, as there was no shortage of anything in God's treasury. But he was disappointed when he didn't find even 4 paise in his bag. He felt like crying as loudly as he could. He got up from there and walked to the bazaar. He waited for the school bell to ring. He wanted to show that he had come straight from school. The next day also, he did the same thing. He again prayed to God to give him 4 rupees. Munna's game with God. Munna suggested the God to play a game. He will go from here to the signal. God should secretly place 4 rupees under that big rock. He will touch the signal and come back. It will be a great fun if he could find 4 rupees under the rock. He went to the signal and came back. He said Bismillah and lifted the rock. He found a big hairy worm under it. He screamed and ran away. Then the news of his absence from school reached his home. Realization. Later on, Munna went on thinking about what could be the harm if God had sent him 4 rupees. Then he came to the realization that if God gave everything due to asking, there would be no difference between man and bird. Also, a man would not learn anything, even wouldn't have learnt the art of making jalebis. This was an important lesson Munna learned due to this incident. Moral of the story. Think before you leap. If we lie, we might get in such trouble that even God might quite possibly not be able to help. We cannot blindly depend on prayers for the fulfillment of our needs. God helps those who help themselves. Everything happens for a reason. Thank you, dear children.